Hi, I'm Leanne. I'm a lightworker and a mother to 3 special girls. I strive to continue learning, growing, and to collect new skills. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master teacher, and Akashic record reader and energy healer. I am so excited to share what I've learned and what I'm going to learn and the ups and downs of life. Thank you for joining me on my journey. Welcome to Life of a Lightworker podcast. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm recording this in the morning, which isn't what I normally do. I had planned, or I was thinking of recording it while the kids were still asleep, because it's summertime. That would be the most uninterrupted time. But my spirit team had another idea, because while I was trying to record, my microphone was not being recognized. Like when I went to all the settings, it was set up right, but it wouldn't work. It wouldn't record. So when I asked my higher self, my team, I'm not supposed to record at that moment. I'm like, okay, all right. Also, I finished drinking my tea because I had just started it. I went and got dressed because I was still in my pajamas. And when everything was all done, I was like, I'm going to try again. And now it works. So I have to be prepared. I have to get ready for my day before I record a podcast, apparently. Now I know. I was drawn to the Cat Tarot today, which is made and illustrated by Megan Lynn Kott. My intention, as always, is what do you, the people who are listening, what do you need to hear today as you are listening to this? And I got one card pop out. I'm just going to double check to make sure that's the right one. Yes, that's the right card. And the card is Justice. I am not a tarot reader. I do not know all the cards, so I'll be using the guidebook. And it came out in the upright position. So from the book, just because the hand feeds you doesn't mean it doesn't deserve an occasional nip. And the upright meaning, this card reminds us that actions have consequences and cause is followed by effect. No surprise that this card is associated with cautious, measured Libra. Fairness will prevail, so play by the rules. I feel like for this, what I feel the meaning is, the universe will take care of the karma, will take care of itself, and we don't need to actively plan out, let's say, revenge or making things even. But that doesn't mean that when something happens to us, we don't have an action, because that is how the universe creates the balance of karma. That's how the universe creates the cause and effect, is by the people around the world having a play in this. So it's having your boundaries and calmly, respectfully uphold those boundaries. Don't let people come into those boundaries and push those boundaries, but uphold them. And it doesn't mean you have to be malicious. It doesn't mean you have to attack, but it means you uphold the boundaries. So if somebody is trying to, let me see if I can think of an example. Okay, so for an example, let's say you and a friend are always going out for coffee or lunch or something, and they are constantly forgetting their money, and they're constantly relying on you to pay. And in this scenario, it bothers you. It doesn't feel good to you. It feels icky. It's causing resentment towards the friend. So the consequence of that would be the next time you go out to have coffee or whatever, you remind them for their money. And when you both show up, ask them if they brought their card or their money. And if they said no, then leave the area. Don't hang out. Don't pay for their beverage or food, because you've set up the boundary of, I need you to pay for your own, and they haven't respected that. So you need to enforce it and walk away, because it's going to create that resentment within you, and it's going to tarnish that relationship, and it's ruining that relationship. So if you not paying ruins the relationship, it was already ruined anyways because of your feelings towards them that are building up. And if this is something that doesn't bother you at all and you don't mind paying for everybody, then this isn't the example for you. This is just one little example, but the feeling behind it when other people are constantly asking more from you and you're feeling resentment, it's bothering you, you almost want to avoid seeing them, you need to enforce that boundary. You need to step up and not let them come into your area, your space, your sacred space, because they're invading it with their energy. They're constantly pushing and pushing and pushing. And everyone knows that doesn't feel good. And the way you enforce it is tell them no. And if they continue, then you walk away. It doesn't have to be a forever walk away, but from that time, that moment, you walk away. You stop the situation, you stop the scenario. I feel like there's a lot of people that are dealing with more of a narcissistic tendency person who are going to then blame you or lash out at you for this boundary and not constantly taking energy and time and money or resources, whatever it is, away from you. And I feel like you stepping back, looking at it for what it is and not something that you're doing to them. You're just removing yourself from the situation and seeing their reaction, seeing how they respond to that will tell you a lot about a person and give you, hopefully that opens your eyes to see them for who they truly are. If they accept it and they just didn't realize it, maybe they got into a habit, you see them for who they are, that it's not they're not a bad person. They're not somebody that you don't want to be friends with. You just needed to uphold a boundary for your own mental health. And if they do respond in a way that is more blaming you and trying to make it more of something you're doing to them, I hope you are able to sit back and witness this for what it truly is and not blaming yourself. And the best way to respond, from what I feel from this card, is to be neutral, non-responsive, to be matter of fact that kind of reiterate, this is my boundary, this is what I'm upholding, and that is that. And then remove yourself from the situation. Not engaging. I feel like not giving them the energy or the fuel to continue their fire. And I feel like they're going to burn their own fire. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of frustration on that side. But it'll just show you who they really are, how they choose to use their energy. And do you want to associate with someone who uses their energy and other people's energy that way? So it's more of a reflection of how you value yourself, how you value your boundaries, who you allow to be around you, to interact with you, to engage with you. And that's going to be really, really important to focus on that aspect, not constantly helping others, what other people need me to do, maybe other people thrive or are better when you're helping them, but how is it affecting you? And focusing in on yourself, your own energy, how you're using your own energy, because yes, it's wonderful to help other people. We're here to help other people, but we are also here to focus in on ourselves, to live this human existence. And we're not able to fully do that if we're depleting ourselves and we don't have anything left. And so many of us have given. We have very little reserves left. So we need to, society, time to focus in on ourselves, get comfortable with ourselves, notice where our energy is, where it's being depleted, where it's not depleted in a way that we're unaware of, unconscious of. I feel like that's the main thing. We're losing all this energy, we're sending it out without conscious thought or effort. It's just being sent away or taken away. And that's the part that we need to focus on. So coming into ourselves and realizing where these energy drains are in our life, and that's the point. Because when we can recognize where we're losing unnecessary energy, that we're able to focus our power, our energy, not only on ourselves but other people. We're more effective to other people when we know our own energy. So taking a step back from helping others and helping yourself is extremely important. And it is not selfish. It allows you to help others more effectively and better in the future. It has to do with, just not being a complete drain. We're not just giving everything away. It's a more focused. It's like a broad spectrum or like a focused beam. Which one is going to start a fire? Just the sun? It can happen. Or maybe a magnifying glass. It's so much easier to start a fire with a magnifying glass than just the plain sun. So that focused beam is a lot more effective. I feel like one of the best ways to start being more aware of your energy is spending more time by yourself. Because when you're around other people, you feel other people's energy, and sometimes you can get confused between your own other people, especially if you're not alone very often. So if you're someone who's almost always around someone, taking more time to be by yourself, whether it be a walk, whether it be meditating, whether it be doing a craft or whatever. If you're alone, that's all that matters. And when you are alone, noticing your thoughts, your feelings. I feel like it's not being distracted. You don't want to necessarily watch TV. You don't want to listen to music necessarily. And as far as music, I'm getting like a yes and no. Like sometimes music is helpful, sometimes it's not helpful. It depends on the situation. So grain of salt on that one. But we are attempting to not be distracted and be in the present moment. So being out in nature is amazing. That's the one that I'm the most drawn to. Or I see people meditating, just being still within themselves. I feel like an easy way to connect with yourself, your body during this time is to do a body scan. So at the top of your head, notice the top of your head, move down throughout all parts of your body, down to your feet, and we're noticing what your body feels like at that moment in time. And if you notice any tightness or soreness, try to breathe into it and try to imagine that area softening and letting go, sinking into your body, sinking into the space and relaxing and releasing, allowing the thoughts, the ideas, the feelings that need to be felt to come through and not hold it in tight constriction. Imagine like the wind blowing, and the water flowing, and that gentle breeze. Imagine the breeze rushing over your body and your body moving into the breeze, moving into the way the wind moves back and forth. That's the kind of feeling, that's the kind of energy would be most beneficial for spending time by yourself, because that will allow you to relax, it will allow the ideas and the feelings to come forward that we need to address, look at, feel. So, not judging what ideas pop into your head. This isn't a time for stillness per se, as in we're not having no thoughts. We're allowing those thoughts, seeing what comes, recognizing those thoughts, and fully letting them sit and be expressed. We're not shoving them, be like, oh, I don't want this thought or feeling, I'm going to push it away. We're going to acknowledge it, feel it, and then instead of, let's say, something that's really sad or it makes you really angry, maybe it's something you don't want to feel it. And after you feel it, think about maybe other aspects or a different perspective and allow yourself to move through it and get a different perspective. Because I feel like a lot of the times these emotions get stuck within our energy, within our bodies, because we're so honed in on our experience in that exact moment. So we feel what we felt then, we acknowledge it of what happened, and then we go from a different perspective so that we can not be so stuck in that pinpoint. We're widening the view. We're stepping out. So looking at it from different angles, from maybe your higher self perspective. Ask yourself, what other perspective would be helpful for me? And see what comes. See what pops into your head. What little ideas sprinkle in. And go from there. Because part of being able to release those emotions is seeing another side of it. Being able to not feel stuck. Because I feel like a lot of people, when they're releasing, they tend to just push it away, thinking that's releasing it. But unless you think about that moment and you no longer feel the same way, you didn't release it. If you think back to it and you still feel the same way you did when it happened, it's still active. So feeling it so that it can be acknowledged, because that's what feelings need. That's what they want, is acknowledgement. They got to move that energy. And then the only way to get out of your head, out of that moment, is to see it from a different angle. You need to step out of it. Like imagine moving to a different perspective, moving to a different level, maybe another dimension, maybe from your higher self or spirit team's perspective, maybe from the other person in the event, from their perspective. Play around with all these different perspectives until there's something that makes you go, oh, okay, I see this differently now. I don't feel as attached to that moment anymore. And it'll just kind of click when you find the right thing. Sometimes you can feel it, you're like, oh, this is the right thing, but it still takes some time to fully release. Be patient with yourself. Depends on the situation. Some things are easier, quicker to release than others. But that's the general technique that they're showing me to be helpful for us when we're going through these stuck emotions that are draining our energy, aren't letting us use our energy wisely, that are confining us, that are keeping us small, that aren't letting us shine as bright as we want to be. So removing all of these little holes within our energy that we've been taught to form. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. No, that feels like the message for today. So thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a wonderful day. And if you want to contact me, my website is spruceenergyhealing.com. On Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, I'm all Spruce Energy Healing. Have a great day. Goodbye.